Configure the test plan. The final step to create a new wafer recipe is to configure your test plan. A test plan organizes the elements of your wafer recipe into an actionable testing sequence. To configure the test plan, you will first click Test Plan to show the probe patterns available for use in the test plan for this recipe. As you can see, no probe patterns have been added to the test plan at this time. In an earlier step of this tutorial, you configured a probe pattern named Pattern 1. For this tutorial, you will add this pattern to your test plan. In the menu bar, click the Append Row button once to add one new row to the table. Click and drag Pattern 1 from the Available Patterns navigator to the Pattern Name drop-down menu field. Then, select the Row 1 Map checkbox. Note that any patterns with unselected checkboxes will be tested, but not displayed or mapped. The index numbers indicate the order in which patterns will be tested. Use the Move Up and Move Down buttons located on the button bar to change the pattern test order. Since we have only added one pattern, its index number is 1 and cannot be moved. Next, you will add subsites and macros to your test plan. 7 subsites and 1 macro were configured in previous steps of this tutorial. These subsites and macros will be used in the test plan for Pattern 1. In the Project Navigator, click Pattern 1 to show the Pattern 1 subsites table. As you can see, no subsites have been added to the test plan at this time. Here you will add the available subsites for Pattern 1 to be tested by the macros you defined in Step 4 of this tutorial. In this tutorial, you will test 7 subsites for each die in Pattern 1. In the button bar, click the Append Row button once and add one row to the table. Click and drag the subsite KBKDN2 from the Available Subsites area to the subsite name cell for Index 1. Drag and drop the remaining subsites to the Index 1 subsite name cell one at a time in the following order: KBKDN1, GeoX1, BCAP3, BCAP2, BCAP1, Home. Now you should see a total of 7 subsites on the Subsites tab. If needed, select the checkboxes in the Enabled column to insert checkmarks. Any unchecked subsite will not be tested. Drag and drop Macro 1 from the Available Macros area to the macro name cell for Index 2. Highlight cells for Index 2 through Index 7 in the Macro Name column by clicking the just placed Macro 1, and while holding in the Shift key, click the Macro Name cell for Index 7. Press Ctrl-D to populate all highlighted cells with Macro 1. The elements of your wafer recipe, waferrecipe1.wr, have been created and organized into an actionable testing sequence. This concludes the configuration of the test plan for this wafer recipe.